I'm TR. I'm a freelance web developer and a Shopify expert based out of the Springfield, Missouri area. So I work with a lot of different merchants, people who own Shopify stores, and they often come asking for help with speed optimization. So they say, hey, like I've got all these apps, I've read about how bad it is for how slow my website loads, and I really need to change that. And so the biggest thing that I can tell you, or that I start off with anytime I start a speed optimization product, is to tell them to stop caring about your page speed score. Shopify made a change a year or so ago where they stuck that big old page speed score in your dashboard, and it says you have a 20 or something like that, and that your store is slower than everybody else. And that's just not true. So my job really is to provide some context around that score and also let you know that you're not failing. And because that's what everybody thinks. Everybody automatically sees a 20 and they just immediately go back to grade school, assigning a 20 out of 100 is like an F minus or something like that, right? And so that's really bad. Somebody's calling mom and you're getting in trouble at home or whatever, and it's just not the case. So PageSpeed has evolved over time as far as how that gets measured and then also the impacts of that. It got to the point though where people were just caring about the number more so than the metrics behind the number, right? Everyone's heard about how Amazon cut down their load times and now they make millions more or whatever just for like a second that they shaved off. And it's not going to be that simple on your store. Arguably, just focusing on that page speed, we kind of lose the forest for the trees kind of type thing. And so what we want to do instead is to focus on core web vitals. This is the metric that Google actually cares about, and it's what actually impacts your store's ability to rank higher or lower in search results when we're not also referring to the quality of the content for the search query. Google's come out and said that from the get-go. They've always been very strong on that stance. Quality content is king. So before we start page speed, that is something that I always try to make sure to be upfront with folks. The best thing that you can do is make sure that you have quality content on your site and you're ranking for that. We can fix the other stuff. We can turn our attention to the technical SEO piece. But if the content SEO is not there, it's going to be problematic. If the traffic's not there, it's going to be problematic. So we can set your store up for success. We can make sure all of those other things are working by focusing on those core web vitals. But we can't also do that in favor of ignoring other elements. The biggest thing that I tell folks, about that with page speed, think about it from the context of, hey, developers can build hundreds. They can hit hundreds on those page speed tests. But if that was all there was to it, if that was all there was to selling, would developers work for anybody else? No, we'd build hundreds and then just rake in the money, right? So it's not that simple. Just improving that isn't necessarily going to change anything. There are other factors at play that you need to take into consideration. And so we can walk through that, but I want to make sure that that's very clear and upfront. You cannot ignore the other variables there. Thanks for taking the time to watch this. Hope that's a little bit explanatory. I'm going to do a couple of series where I walk through and move through some of these other tools or tests or what have you, so that way we can take a look at the PageSpeed tool, we can see how it's interacting with content that's actually on the page, and we're going to actually learn how to interpret those results. So you can do PageSpeed audits, rather core web vitals audits on your websites yourself.